That's what she did in that video.
Welcome to Bonehead Weekly, where James blows the good stuff
What?
before we start pushing record. So this week we're going to do a kind of a shorter episode. Our friend James is sick. He doesn't feel well. He doesn't look good. He didn't used to look like this. He's really just a falling apart piece of shit.
True. I used to
Battle
be
axe
a
motherfucking dumpster
I
fire
used to be a 6'8" blonde Adonis.
named
Then I got these
Pamela.
glasses and
And
could
then he
see.
stopped taking acid.
Like I could afford acid in the first place, unless you mean literally I was drinking lithium batteries, in which case
James
I
used
was.
to transition in a different way.
Oh,
He
guys,
transitioned between light and sound.
so I got to tell y'all something. So speaking of acid,
Battery?
I don't know why I did this to myself.
You took acid.
No, and I will explain why this made me think of this. I sit down and watch The Adventures of Pluto Nash.
I've seen parts of it.
I've never seen it. I must.
I
Admit,
didn't even realize Randy Quaid was in it until I was watching.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't know.
Did he at any point start a reactor?
No, different kind of
No.
Quaid.
He's actually the most
that's the
interesting part.
dentist.
He's the most interesting part about that movie. And this is a movie with Luis Guzman, Eddie Murphy, Rosario Dawson,
Remember
Joey Pants.
Relatively big budget and a pretty
Yeah, it was a huge
impactful
failure.
flop.
Yeah.
Pauly's in it.
Who?
Burt Young.
Huh?
Burt Young.
Burt Young.
Yeah. That's where the acid came in, because he's going to feed Pluto Nash's best friend owes the mob money, and they're going to make him drink battery acid because he hasn't paid them yet. That movie is awful. You know, they say, you know, I'm not going to defend The Room. The Room's goddamn unwatchable, but Manos, the Hands of Fate.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Plan 9 from Outer Space. At least they're fun to watch because they are terrible. Pluto Nash is just unwatchable. And I was like, why am I watching this? I can't pull myself away from this train wreck.
Does it keep you up at night knowing that got made and nothing we've ever written has gotten half that budget, a third of that budget, 100th of that budget for that matter?
I just don't understand how that movie could gone so as wrong as it did.
It didn't star William Shatner.
Yeah. Or
say
Sylvester
what you
Stallone.
will about Bowfinger or Showtime or whatever that movie is that also stars William Shatner and Eddie Murphy.
Showtime.
Good time. Showtime. It was Showtime.
So oddly enough, that speaking of Sylvester Stallone, have you guys watched that Sly documentary yet?
No, not yet.
So I really enjoyed the Arnold one, which was much longer.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. I liked it a lot. Didn't care for FUBAR, but I liked the documentary about him. That being said, I like parts of the Sly one. I want you all to watch it. To me, it's a little overblown. I don't know. It just... I'm curious. I want somebody else's opinion. I liked parts of it, but I don't know that it delves really deep and it delves really deep into his relationship with he and his father. But
I'm going to watch it.
I think it's kind of padded.
I will watch it eventually. I still have to watch the Arnold Schwarzenegger one too, so I'd have to watch both of them to give you an opinion.
Yeah, I like the Schwarzenegger one a lot. I just didn't. Well, I think I've watched maybe 2 episodes of FUBAR.
What is this on?
It's a Netflix. All on Netflix, yeah.
Oh, I figured Netflix, but I thought maybe the Stallone one might be on Paramount Plus, because that's where
you would think that's where his show is. Which I love the show. The show's a lot of fun.
I do too.
But I had the Sly one. Okay, so we're talking this week. This week is going to be Thanksgiving. A lot of you all will be traveling or staying at home or on call if you're me. But hopefully you have a good time, and hopefully you'll be hanging out with loved ones and not your friends and family, because who wants to hang out with those folks? You really want to hang out with the people you really love. I'm curious, what traditions do you two losers have? What do you watch at Thanksgiving?
I mean, I think there's one that we all watch in or around Thanksgiving. I would think
Garfield's Thanksgiving, right?
I was going to go with the second option. Oh, Joe, just FYI, sorry, it just popped up on my screen because my email alert came out. I'm sure, or I don't know if y'all went to see it in theaters or not, but make sure your son knows that he can now stream Paw Patrol on Paramount Plus, the new movie.
I saw it in Florida, actually.
There you
There you
go.
go. Oh, God. Keep going, James.
Yeah, James.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Speaking of
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is probably the best Thanksgiving movie ever made.
Yep.
Now, I haven't seen the new Thanksgiving by Eli Roth. I'd like to see it.
I want to see it.
It comes out this weekend. We really should try to see that, gentlemen. We really should. If James,
Yeah.
if your impacted bowel gets better, you should try to go see that.
I cannot see
been-
it this weekend, so we'll talk about this after we record.
But
So,
that might be fun.
yeah, I
But,
would love to see Thanksgiving.
but is there a better movie about Thanksgiving than Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
I honestly cannot think of one.
Can't either. They either
Um,
take place on Halloween or Christmas. And that
Christmas.
leads me to my second point. Why is Thanksgiving such a throwaway holiday? Because everything stops for it.
Partially, do you think it's? I mean, not historically, but
Mhm.
in recent times, it's not global, right?
No,
I mean, the Canadians had their Thanksgiving, what, 2-3 weeks ago?
probably. Just like they don't have the same damn Memorial Day. They're unpatriotic Americans.
We'll get back to that later. North Americans, I guess, technically. But the point being,
We don't think about them till we run out of resources.
Oh, guys,
remember-
wait.
Remembrance Day and those poppies right, Memorial Day, it's here, but Remembrance Day in England, right? And so, but I say that to say universal holiday, right? Like Halloween's a universal holiday. It's been, it's present around the world. It tends to be,
Yeah.
if not globally adopted, almost, right?
Right.
Spooky movies you can watch at that time of year, but
Spooky.
Thanksgiving is hard to market globally.
I do want to point out though, we talked about we were talking about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and you said that's really only the good Thanksgiving movie.
That's the best Thanksgiving movie. There's not a ton.
Okay, I do want to mention that Dutch, which is also a John Hughes film,
I
is
was gonna
very
say Dutch
close.
was on my list. Yeah.
Oh, that's another good one.
Yeah,
I never remember. See,
I'll be honest with you. The only reason I didn't say, I had to look it up because I kept telling myself it was Christmas, so I looked
did
it up.
too.
It leads up to
Um,
Thanksgiving.
It's
Yeah.
it's Thanksgiving. Yeah,
Both of
so
those movies.
yeah, so yeah, I you have to include that in the run. Now again, you can't compete with Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but Dutch, man, is an amazing film that is
I haven't
underappreciated.
Well, by the
haven't
way, there
seen it
is
in years.
another movie, but it's set during the summer, but it has a key Thanksgiving element to it, and we end up watching it around Thanksgiving every year in the Thomas household.
What
And
is
that
it?
would be Adam's Family Values. Eat
That's
me.
true.
Hey, it's Thanksgiving Day.
Eat me.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. That's a
I
good
mean,
one.
they're at summer camp, so it's set during the summer, but it is definitely
and I think that's the
Um,
scene that everybody remembers from that movie.
Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course.
I mean, I'm going to burn your anyway.
Dead air. Dead air. Dead
No,
air.
no. Well, and there's another thing I've got to mention because you asked what we do, and there's one song I force my family, and it connects to a film. A film was made of it, and stars actually the singer. There's one song that I
Him-bong.
have to listen to every Thanksgiving, because it's all about what happens on one Thanksgiving when a gentleman gets arrested for littering. Because you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant, except
Restaurant.
for Alice. But if you're not familiar, go listen to the song. It's going to be the best 22 minutes and I think 16 seconds of your life in one song. But it tells the story, somewhat autobiographical, of Arlo Guthrie.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a criminal record at one point for littering. And so when the draft came up, he tells the full story in the song, but he does have to go appear before a judge and all that stuff. But when he ends up getting the draft card and goes to the draft, he has to report himself as a criminal. And one of my favorite terrible lines in it is, because he has a criminal record, there's a part in the song where he goes, and so the recruit tells me, you go over there, there's Group F bench where there's what is it, murderers and rapers and killers and father rapers.
Father rapers.
Father rapers. Listen to the song. Mother rapers, father rape. The line "father rapers" is used in the song. If you have not enjoyed the 22 minutes of the song. You need to check it out. But it's a very interesting artifact historically because A, it is largely autobiographical, but also it reminds you of a time when you could be drafted. Like how good Thanksgiving's coming up. And when you get drafted, you had to reveal any crimes you had. And his crime was littering. And the other part about the song I love is when they were going down the bench saying, "What do you do?" And it gets to him. He goes, "What are you arrested for?" And he said, "I tell them littering," and everybody scoops away from me because evidently the biggest crime on the bench with the father rapers is littering. If you've never heard the song,
I have
yeah, but there
heard
was a
it.
movie
It's just
made
been a
off of it.
long
Yeah.
time.
You can get anything you want. The
That's
movie
awesome.
he plays himself in the movie, but it also stars and I'm blanking on the name. Crap. Stalling for time.
What?
Stalling
Which
for
one? Which one?
time. Um, I'm trying to remember who the movie stars because it's actually got a relatively interesting cast, and I'm blanking on the name, which is terrible. And I was
Mhm.
trying to look it up, but it's not working. If anybody wants to help me buy time here,
Chad,
Yeah.
talk.
I do want to talk about one movie that a lot of people don't consider a Thanksgiving movie, but it does take place during Thanksgiving. Sin of a Woman.
Is it really?
Yeah, because it's all about the student played by Chris O'Donnell who's getting ready to face a disciplinary committee if he's going to report on his friends or not. And he's tasked with taking care of the blind, suicidal army man played by Al Pacino over Thanksgiving break.
Hmm.
And it's about him and their adventures during that Thanksgiving holiday. So a lot of people don't consider that a Thanksgiving movie, but when you talk about Thanksgiving movies, I mean, I think it plays a part in the actual story itself.
When you say
So-
it like that, a lot of people don't think that. I always think of Squidbillies. A lot of people don't think this is good meat in the face.
but they is.
They is.
By the way, Alice's Restaurant
By Arlo Guthrie.
stars Patricia Quinn, James Broderick, and Arlo Guthrie as himself. And it is a film about the bizarre aftermath of what happens when you litter on Thanksgiving.
I still don't.
Yeah, you lost me.
Seriously, after this is over, clear your schedule.
I mean,
for 20
I've
minutes.
heard it before. so
I'm
it's
not
been a
going
long
to.
time.
Yeah, I've heard parts of it. I'm not going to sit. Yeah, no.
You're missing out. You'll never know about the massacre or massacre.
That's
if you want.
true.
I'll read the cliff notes.
No, you won't.
No, I won't. I won't even dedicate my time on that.
So what do you all?
You'll listen to 1,000 podcasts about the cast, about who played the third string backup in the Monkees, episode 472. There wasn't an episode 472. It didn't run that long. But you will not listen to an Arlo Guthrie American classic.
I listened to a 3-hour documentary on the punk band The Screamers. I was actually fascinated by that.
Anybody going to talk about the Day Trippers? No? Okay, then.
You can talk about
I
whatever
know.
you want.
Is the Day Trippers? It doesn't take place during Thanksgiving, does it?
Doesn't it?
I don't. Somebody look it up. I don't know.
I don't know.
If technically it takes place the day after Thanksgiving. You're right. They're recovering from Thanksgiving. But the Day Trippers takes place the day after Thanksgiving.
That's
right.
a good film. Day Trippers. That's a good film.
I haven't seen it in a long time. There's so many of these I haven't seen because honestly, if
You never seen
put
any of the Thanksgiving films?
if you put a gun to my head, I would have told you Dutch takes place at Christmas.
I really did until I always get it confused. So, because I keep thinking it's Christmas because it's all the snow, and
Yeah.
they meet in that they have that
There's nobody there at the school.
in the shelter and all
Yeah.
that other. It makes you think Christmas, but no, it's Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's him trying to get his kid, the kid home to his girlfriend's house for Thanksgiving.
That son of a
It's-
bitch.
It's Parker Posey in a bunch of Thanksgiving adjacent movies.
Is
she's
the House of Yes Thanksgiving?
Yes, yeah, because the House of
No,
Yes,
yes.
and the Day Trippers, both. She's in both of those, and those are Thanksgiving adjacent.
I've never seen the House of Yes.
She plays a homicidal Jackie Kennedy Onassis.
Hmm.
I can't remember it. I watched it in like What did it come out when we were in high school, late 90s?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't remember.
She doesn't play Jackie Kennedy
Yeah,
Onassis.
97.
But she plays a woman who believes she is Jackie Kennedy Onassis, which of course would have her married to Ozzie Davis, who was JFK. Um, that's a deep cut for anybody doing movie illusions.
Yeah. Basically.
But basically, yeah, she goes on a murder spree when she learns that her twin brother is engaged.
Before we go off on topic, is there anything you all watch with your families? I know that planes, trains, and automobiles. I will probably put in. I'm sure I'll watch Garfield's Thanksgiving, but it is one of my favorites, so I kind of push that one on the kid, and then he sometimes picks the Charlie Brown Peanuts one there, which actually the Thanksgiving was probably the least out of those three.
Do you have any like did He Man have a Thanksgiving special?
I don't
No.
remember. The Christmas one's amazing.
Yeah, I was just
Amazing.
thinking like that Pac-Man had a Christmas special. He had a Halloween. But you're right, actually, even in the 80s cartoon era,
It's
there's
the
not a lot of
forgotten
Thanksgiving.
holiday. It's basically a precursor to I am tired after Halloween and now I got to go shopping for Christmas.
Yeah.
That's what it
And
is.
it's food
It's a
thing.
it's a food thing with a 4-day weekend. So I
Well,
can
also
go
too
Christmas shopping.
with Thanksgiving, like most of the holiday traditions for Thanksgiving are parade and football.
I do
Well,
like to watch football.
and I wonder about this too. If and I am not. This is not. Somebody's going to take this out of context and think, "Oh my goodness, James is anti-woke or anti-PC." That's not what I'm saying.
That's not true at all. You just don't subscribe to those things, and you think the people who are just awful. What do you call them then?
By the way, James,
I had 5 different names I couldn't say.
I don't mean to correct you guys, but there are hundreds of Thanksgiving TV specials.
Well, tell me about a couple.
Yeah,
Why
but
don't
a
you,
lot
of
why
them
don't
aren't
you add to the
animated, are they?
dialogue?
Animaniacs, there's Turkey Jerky.
I don't remember it.
Life with Luli had the fourth Thursday in November.
Well, now that's different. Go ahead.
There's Garfield's Thanksgiving, of course. Hey Arnold has a great Arnold's Thanksgiving episode.
But were these like one-offs, or were these just part of a show?
These were parts of shows, but they were Thanksgiving specials for those shows.
Well,
Wait, we were talking more primetime cartoons. Like Garfield normally aired during primetime.
yeah.
Okay, so you're not talking about sitcoms or TV shows that have
No, there
Thanksgiving
are
episodes.
several of those, but I don't. None of them.
You ever watch any of them Frasers? Them's good.
There's a. We were just talking about this.
There's
work.
an Amazing Stories episode called Thanksgiving.
I need to go check that one out. I have those. I own those. Amazing stories, you will. If only I knew a man who bought physical media. Physical media.
Oh, Bob's Burgers actually also does.
They have one every year, don't they?
They do one every year. That because it's Bob's obsession is Thanksgiving, and so they do an episode every year about it because he talks to his turkeys.
He talks to them before he kills them.
No, they're dead already, but that's his holiday, and so he's a little obsessed. And sometimes it's some of the better episodes.
Well, I'm actually
there is that dumb episode of Friends where Courtney Cox dances with a turkey on her head, and that's where Chandler, rest in peace, says for the first time, "I love you."
The turkey.
While she's dancing with a turkey on her head.
Oddly enough, the only Thanksgiving episode of a primetime special I could remember off the top of my head was the Thanksgiving one, and where she is that the same one where she keeps having to make different potatoes? Courtney Cox's character for everybody because they have a different want of potatoes. Like one wants mashed, one wants something else.
I honestly can't remember.
But that's what I remember. I don't even remember the turkey thing.
By the way, here according to a kid's website or a website for parents, but to help them find things for their kids to watch. Here for the modern audiences, i.e., not us, is what they recommend for your young children. Puppy Dog Pals has an episode called Turkey on the Town.
He stopped watching Puppy Dog Pals.
A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving is still recommended by them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I may be mispronouncing this. I'm sorry. My kids are, they're old enough to be into marijuana and whatnot. That's a joke, I hope. Sago Mini Friends, Happy Thankful Day. Anybody? I don't know that one. Garfield
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. Make
Yeah.
the list.
Can we talk about sorry, I'll wait for James to do his list then.
Arthur, an Arthur Thanksgiving. It's a recommended one. A Looney Tune Thanksgiving. Paw Patrol, the Pup Save Thanksgiving episode. The Care Bears Graham's Bears Thanksgiving Surprise is from the 1986 Thanksgiving special that aired during prime time. Rugrats, the Turkey Who Came to Dinner, is a recommended episode. Animaniacs made this list as well, Chad. The Teen Titans Go Thanksgiving episode, where they invite Trigon to dinner. And a Winnie the Pooh Thanksgiving, Olivia the Pig, Olivia Talks Turkey, Steven Universe, the Gem Harvest episode. Duggan, those are the
No.
ones that are parent-friendly recommendations.
I do want
For the modern youths.
one of the ones that's
Two
classic.
youths.
This is a classic episode, the classic Thanksgiving episode from The Simpsons too. That's one that's worth mentioning, where Bart destroys Lisa's centerpiece and refuses to apologize, and he runs away from home and ends up in a homeless shelter.
Yeah. That's almost as good a feel-good story as that Christmas episode of Alf. I'm just going to go cut myself so I can see color again.
Are you talking about the one where the girl's dying?
Yeah, and they think Alf's a toy, and that's the toy she wants for Christmas.
Yeah, that's a good one. I just watched that last year, maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, no, but yeah, go ahead, Chad. You were going to say something before I named off this kid-friendly
No,
list?
that was it. The Simpsons one. That's what I was going to mention. The
Yeah.
Simpsons one, because that's a great episode and it's Thanksgiving related.
I mean, the Thomas family, and this goes back to even before I was married. The Thomas family, we end Thanksgiving the same way every year. Drunken knife fight. No,
Thank you. I was waiting for it. I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew it was going to.
No, it's Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
That was honestly, it was one of my dad's favorite films. Like, he loved that film. He said, Michael K., he used to love All-Star Sims, Scrooge, Scrooge. And he said the only person who came, who was, and was probably better, these were my dad's words, probably better than him was Michael Caine. He said the Muppets aside, he did love the Muppets, but he said Muppets aside, Michael Caine may be one of the best Scrooges ever. Take away the Muppets, he still does it so well.
And see, it's kind of funny because we have kind of developed that same Thanksgiving tradition where
you also have a drunken knife fight with your daughters.
Well, no, we watch Christmas Carol, but it is the Robert Zemeckis version.
Oh, the Jim Carrey.
And I don't know how because I know it's not the best version.
Well, has it gotten better?
I really enjoy it. I never had a problem with it, so I can't answer your question.
I like the last 20 minutes. I haven't seen it since I saw it in the theater. My problem is I just thought it's just a lot of filler in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah,
can I tell a deep dark secret?
Yeah.
Never seen it. Not
Seriously.
Well, here's the story behind that. So we showed the kids when my kids were little. We showed them a Muppets Christmas Carol, and they loved it. And this was when I was still working in
still working. Just say still working.
Yeah, still working. I was an academic advisor at the time. I was working on my doctorate, so I stayed late a lot of night. And we owned it. It's on the shelf over here. But my family watched it without me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, well, okay. And I was like, oh, I'll watch it later. And I never did. And every year when it comes around, I'm like, oh, well, they'll want to watch it again. And they haven't.
Because they don't love you.
No, you know what they love and what has replaced it in the rotation? Because we watch
Grumpy Cat.
No, Grumpy Cat's a staple in of its own right. But The Man Who Invented Christmas, the Charles Dickens story.
I like that a lot.
Oh, really?
Oh, I love it.
I liked it a lot.
I mean,
I've only seen it
not
once.
true. It's not true.
Yeah.
Parts of it are true. Like literally, it's the fact that Christmas was not a huge deal. It was like a lot of other, Michaelmas, all of that stuff.
So
I mean, it was
I didn't know
deal,
that. Is that true that Christmas wasn't that big? Because it does make a big deal of it. It was like, oh, it's not even like it's Easter. It's a second-rate holiday.
Well, and that was the entire yeah, it was. And you also have to think about what was going on in England during the it had been going on in England before the separation of the Church of England versus
Hmm.
Catholicism and all that stuff. And there's a reason most of us being from somewhat English stock that we don't. Do you know when Michaelmas is? I don't know when Michaelmas is. I don't
Mm-mm.
know. Saint Michael. I know it was named after, but I don't know when Michael.
Yeah.
We're not informed that way anymore. And so I think it's important to know. I mean, the big day was Easter, right? That was
Yeah.
not to be somewhat religious sounding, but that was a covenant, right? He
Yeah.
died for our sins. He came back. That's the miracle. Being born, and I'm saying this poorly, and don't come at me, religious people, because I'm one of you. Don't hurt me. I have some form of faith. It's an almighty dollar. No,
They don't listen to this. We've
yeah,
got
no,
all them Satanists.
and we welcome you. And
We
please
welcome
pledge.
Satanists.
No, I'm saying this all poorly, but you know what I mean. It's yeah, we it's the movie grandizes that a little bit, but it was not. I mean, people still did go like now it's stay at home, spend time with your family. It was like,
Yeah.
you can, but you can also go out there, and you do actually see that in a lot of versions of the Christmas Carol, right? He
Yeah.
sends a kid on Christmas morning to buy a goose. What does that tell you? The goose shops are open.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there is some legitimate things. Whereas now we're like, no, 99.9 things percent of things are closed, except for luckily the Chinese restaurants where I get my
Chinese
dinner.
buffet.
Yeah, God bless the Chinese buffet. Because
Chinese buffet.
as I was a kid, when I was a kid, my mom would spend all day cooking and stuff like that. And now,
And then take you to the Chinese buffet.
no, we did not go. My mom made turkey and ham because I don't know if you've seen me, but I'm fat.
It's called them
Uh,
Chinese buffets.
no, well, I mean that's what I did the 364 other days of the year.
Hmm.
But anyway, yeah. So I mean, it grandad's a little bit, but no, yes, Chad, we do watch it. Do you hate it? Do you hate all things that bring people joy?
No, just that.
No,
And also
I went in, I caught it
Hmm.
on because I didn't go see it in theaters because I'm not
I
oddly
didn't either.
enough.
I watched it on streaming, I'm sure.
Yeah, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I'm not a big Dickens fan. Uh, I don't. I mean, I like A Christmas Carol, but I read Bleak House and it's bleak. I didn't enjoy it. It was not, and I've read Great Expectations, and okay, I get it, cool,
Well, that's
but he's not my favorite author.
back to our second class Thanksgiving holiday. I mean, it's for shopping. It's another time for everybody to go to the movies. It's a big movie weekend, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's always some tent pole What's the tent pole coming out next weekend? Is it Is it the new Pixar film?
Is it
Wish.
Beyonce?
Wish.
Yeah, Wish is the
I
Yeah.
think it's Wish.
So, I mean, that's what it's about a lot and it's eating and going to see your family and then not being able to stand your family. So going out to see a movie or shopping.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I think we're seeing this turnaround a little bit. But you brought this up. There for a while before COVID,
Yeah.
stores were open on Thanksgiving. Like it
Yeah.
used to be when I was a kid, everything closed,
And
and
then
then you had
opened
Black
up.
Friday. But then Black Friday became Thursday evening,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the stores would
Yeah.
open at noon on Thanksgiving, and then COVID hit, and it seems like that killed that. Like there's some things that still open, but not as much as there was.
Yeah. Well, they would open Thursday morning, shut down Thursday day, then open back up like at Thursday evening, and some of them would open up on Friday morning, which is Thursday at midnight. It's so
Yeah.
freaking weird.
And by the way, I think that's one of those times when I really do think that it makes me look at America and go, you know what, some of these other places are right. And I'm not anti-American like Chad is. But the point being, I think about everything like going on in the world and the people that are cold or the people that, need water and all this stuff. And I just imagine us, taking video of these people are lined up outside of Best Buy at 2 a.m. on Wednesday night or Thursday morning. So on Friday morning, they can get a TV the size of your house. And that's what we do. Now, they have homes. They could be inside and be warm, but they're in a tent. And I see that stuff, and it does blow my mind because my entire thing, my parents were anti Black Friday.
But
I
your
think it's because
wife
we were,
and her family are pro
yeah.
Black Friday.
yeah, no, well,
You
well,
have
and
to
I
go
think
every year.
I think the reason my family was anti Black Friday is we were poor.
Or
And
hold on, tell
we're
your wife and say it's because we loved each other.
yeah, well, we were definitely, especially when I was young, we were lower class, and also
Oh,
we
I
weren't in a
wouldn't.
place.
Do not limit yourself to being
No
young.
class. I'm sorry, no class. Um, no, but also, and Joe, you know where I grew up. Chad,
Yeah.
you know where I grew up. There wasn't
sir.
exactly shopping malls there. And
No.
my parents were under no circumstances going to drive an hour and a half to take me or themselves to a mall. That would be the least favorite thing they could do. The first thing was to, of course, beat me and lock me in a closet. That was their favorite thing to do. And then the least favorite
Was to pawn you
was
off
drive
on
to a mall.
Cobweb in the basement.
No. So I mean, yeah, no, I didn't get it till I was married. I didn't understand Black Friday. And now that I've been several
Good Lord.
times, I don't understand it.
I hate
don't.
it.
I mean,
Never have liked it.
I like going to get movies, physical media.
But
That's why I
it's
go.
not even the same anymore either. Now I can do it on my
No.
couch from Amazon at the same time.
Well, but even then, like even barring that, it's I some of the stuff on my shelf are impulse buys, right? Because you're sitting there buying and be like, well, this one's $3.
Mm-hmm.
Special edition, blah blah blah. Yeah. I don't know if I'll watch it, but $3, that's
$3.
2 sodas from a vending machine
Yeah, back in the
on my
day.
shelf.
Well, I think we're
my
running a
shelf,
little
I-
dry here. Is there any
Yeah.
other? Is there any other? See, I said Christmas again. Is there any other Thanksgiving things we should talk about? Really, mine is really big as Garfield's Thanksgiving and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
And obviously we'll see how we feel about this Thanksgiving film. By the way, I did find in my closet the short film that was part of Grindhouse. My shirt that says "Come Hungry, Leave Stuff" that was from
Yeah.
the Thanksgiving trailer.
You need to come over to
Um,
my house for Thanksgiving and wearing that.
No. There's not a lot of because I think that's the other thing. I mean, Eli Roth is doing or what was Eli Roth? I don't know who's directing this.
Hold on. I forgot about one famous one. We forgot about the WKRP turkey drop.
Oh yeah, actually,
Because
I
Christy bought me
saw,
the
and I
shirt
thought
last
about
year, and
you
I
all.
did wear it, and I will wear it again this year.
I thought about you all because somebody took if you're a Star Trek fan and you know about Shaka when the walls fell, somebody took that and took that where he's laughing and his head's back, and it says WKRP with the turkeys unfurled. And I'm like, that's a 3% joke at best. That you're going to find somebody that knows that episode of WKRP and that episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. But I am part of that 3%.
And if you're part of that 3%, you should schedule your colonoscopy now.
And subscribe. Hold on. Let me do like the YouTube kids and smash that like and subscribe button.
Smash it.
Or just gently push it. Don't break your computer. We're not legally liable for that noise.
All right. Anything else, gentlemen?
No.
No,
right.
but there needs to be more Thanksgiving tunes because something has to knock off Alice's Restaurant by Arlo Guthrie. And it shouldn't be that high of a bar, but it really is. There's not a lot of Thanksgiving tunes
All right. This has been Bonehead Weekly.
where you can get everything you want, excepting Alice.